think not yet, huh? But Heikki Linnanen joins us from Fortum Distribution. In Finland, the smart meter rollout is mandated with an end date in 2013, so that is kind of arm's length.
This is actually a story about, very briefly about Rollout, and I'm afraid I'm almost going to repeat what Endesa just said. The story sounds very similar. The key thing, I think, however, is what are we doing after Rollout and basic billing? We have a strong drive to utilize the platform and very significant investment for other things besides the basics. So let's get going. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry. Here we go. So briefly about our Nordic approach and a few words about the rollout. And related to rollout very heavily is the customer communications. And then we go to proceed to the IT part. So how to provide hourly meter readings, a nice web service for all our customers. And then we talk about thing we call local connectivity, i.e. how do we get from the meter on to the actual customer premises. And a few words about outage management, quality control. So essentially this is about low voltage network management and utilization of smart meters there. And at the end of it, trying to put everything together on a roadmap, what has been done and what do we plan to do going forward. So Fortum, very briefly, we are a Nordic energy company, also with big business nowadays in Russia, and some operation also in Baltic countries, Poland and UK. But about smart metering, Fortum has a grid business in Sweden, Finland and Norway, about 850,000 customers in Sweden, 600,000 customers in Finland and 100,000 customers in Norway. Sweden is already done since 3 years. Finland is now ongoing, more about that later. And then Norway is in preparation phase with the plan to do pilot rollout next year. And if we extend the timeline by a few years, then we would see the next generation of Swedish smart meter rollout. So I actually see that it's possible to make a full career doing nothing else but rolling out smart meters within Fortum. Wonderful idea. So regulations. Regulations are extremely important for smart metering. They set the basis, they set the tone, they set the pace for the investment. In Finland, now interesting point regarding this discussion we just had around Endesa. In Finland, the regulation requires the DSOs to deliver hourly meter readings for all customers by end of 2013. And so that's a regulatory requirement to be provided free of charge for all customers. And this is what we are now heavily focusing on. It's a huge jump going from one single reading a year to basically it's like 5 orders of magnitude difference regarding data volumes. It's a whole different world. And the other, I would say, the Finnish regulation requirements are pretty normal. So about demand response. Regarding the hourly measurements, there's also it's not only measurements, but it's also we are doing the balance settlement for all customers based on those hourly meter readings. That is heavy processing, and it's a significant challenge for the IT systems. But about the rollout, where we are now is about we have about a few weeks back we had 360,000 meters installed. Now it's about 380,000 installed, and we started with the procurement in 2008-2009, and the most time-taking, consuming thing for us is definitely the IT development. We will come back to the roadmap later, but this is the besides once you get the logistics done and the rollout related IT systems, which is a challenge in itself, there are all sorts of very different kinds of IT projects to complete to get the best out of the smart metering system. And that's from an internal competence and resource management perspective, that is the biggest challenge. And of course, not fully visible in the picture is then the daily operation, what you get after the meters have actually been installed and commissioned, is that actually do and deliver the 99.x% of meter readings per day. So that's a rigorous daily routine required. But our rollout and related IT developments, so it's really a lot about really detailed, careful design, including all the exception cases. That's been a lot of work gone into that, and one of the things that I'd like to pick up is the process of doing reconnections and disconnections with the smart meters. It's very useful functionality and will save a lot of cost in the field work, but the challenge is that especially the reconnection part of it needs to work really reliably, and if it doesn't work, you need to really quickly be able to resolve the situation. So it's more like a process issue that reconnections and disconnections require, but it's after a lot of hard work, it's starting to work pretty well. So far, the first round meter change success for us has been 97.3%, and on a second round, it's a little bit north of 99%. So we are pretty happy with those, and I'm soon coming to the customer communications role in achieving these results, the lettering and notification process. Regarding the rollout related IT system, it's really, we also have legacy systems. Our billing system was taken into use in 1991, and it has taken a lot of development, coding, testing to get that system to efficiently use smart meters. Now, one of the things that we learned during project execution is that this involves a huge number of different kind of suppliers and partners for IT, for rollout, for logistics, for all sorts of things. You really need to have one single joint plan, one single kind of project management framework, and have we opted for companies who have done something similar before, and I think we've been pretty happy that we so decided. So customer communications. Interesting, I think this picture looks very similar to what Endesa was just showing a moment ago. So it's extremely important factor of a successful rollout is the good integrated communication process. Good plan and focus on where it counts most, which is our case is those customers whose meter are behind locked doors. And have really clear key messages which you repeat over and over again in different media. Have a certain look and feel that doesn't look like a bill. So that's important. So something that can't look like a bill, can't look like an advertisement. It took a little bit of doing, but it was worth it. So that's and then iterate. So no matter how much effort we put to the letters, so after some thousands of customer cases, you then notice that oh my God, I should have told this thing also to the customer, and you end up evolving them a little bit. But I mean, after 6 months of rollout, I think we were pretty much there, so content-wise. But this is it's really valuable thing to put effort to the communication process and have it well thought of. Then to the IT part. As I said, the regulation in Finland requires hourly meter reading for all customers, daily delivered. And what the regulation actually says that we need to deliver the information to the consumer at the same time as it's delivered to the retail companies and for balance settlement. And an only practical way of achieving this is via a web service. And basically all DSOs are implementing a web service of some sort in Finland. So the main functionalities is obviously you can track your own consumption and in Finland we use a lot of electricity for heating purposes, which makes outdoor temperature a really important element of this service. And then you can compare against your own previous consumption or against the peer group. If you input, say, key factors of your dwelling, you will get the kind of neighbor references on the same area of similar kind of buildings. And then we also have there this kind of scenario planning facility where what happens with my consumption if I install a heat pump or lower my outdoor temperature. And that's quite useful functionality. And this now we put this into production in May, and our plan is to we will do it's in use already, but we will do the kind of marketing launch in January when we have about half of our customers in hourly meter readings, so that there's the actual content for the service is there. That's the idea there. And we will also be launching iPhone and Android applications to spice up the launch a little bit, to make it more interesting and easy to use for consumers. So what did we learn? So customers like it very much. Besides kilowatt hours, which many people don't really understand too well, they want to see euros. And the actual euros shown in the bill, and it's a little bit more complicated to do than it sounds, but that's a customer demand that you frequently hear. And the actual challenges were not really related to the application, but it's everything around it. So identification and single sign-on, it's extremely important that you only show the data that is belonging to that customer for security reasons. Where do you put this on your web pages? How do you get here, and from where you go after you viewed your consumption data? And then integrating history data, we took the decision to include history data since 2006 to the system, and turned out to be quite challenging exercise, but we are finally getting there. But that's useful from the consumer perspective. They see the kind of historical data. This we obviously calculated from based on calculational profile from annual readings. Sorry. So then something we are kind of, in a way, the R&D part of the project is what we call local connectivity. We are utilizing two different technologies. We are using echelon technology, meters, and then we are deploying both Zigbee and PLC C-band enabled meters, with the idea that we will be able to deliver the data from meters onto the customer premises. And we are using two different technologies, originally preferring radio, but after field testing verifying that we need also a wireline technology in parallel with the wireless technology. Now we have been able to test and verify both. The technologies are content-wise, they are quite different from each other. So Zigbee is very much like wireless LAN in terms of throughput rate and radio penetration capacity, good data rates, high update frequency. The challenge with Zigbee is that in Finland we have about 2/3 of our meters located in meter rooms that are typically downstairs of an apartment building or even underground. It's next to impossible to get any radio signal out from there. And that's how we have been then developing the PLC C-band solution, and offers lower data rate. It's extremely reliable in field tests, which is important. And most important thing is that it can be installed in any site and it will always work no matter what. So both technologies we have been testing are pretty happy with the functionality. And what do we do with them? The initial service offering is about real-time consumption management, in-home displays, and energy gateways. And the more we have been experimenting with this, the more we are kind of becoming convinced that the future lies with energy gateways. And the actual user interface to the gateway will be a smartphone or a tablet. So that's the way it seems to be going. And the other use case we are studying is using the local connectivity for utility control of EV charging. This is a little bit longer way ahead. EVs are not proceeding too strongly in Finland at this point in time, but the technology offers us a good possibility of having some utility control of charging. And then a few words about the low voltage network management. So it's we are integrating the smart meter data to our distribution management system with basically two use cases. Certain alarms are forwarded directly to DMS, and then the DMS has, on the other hand, capability to query a selected set of meters for their status. With the key, I think the key benefit of out of this is to get a kind of accurate idea what is happening at the low voltage network, and you can locate the faults and detect their nature far better than before. It's including outage data, overcurrents, reverse energy type of things, and also in the next future releases we are also including the zero phase fault, which is extremely important for safety reasons to have well under control. We are now in the piloting phase of the service with about 20,000 sites, with the plan to fully deploy this service during next year. So this, we are very much looking for this service to enhance our fault management capabilities. We have very geographically distributed network with one central operations location, so this is important for us. When we pull everything together, what we have is a actual roadmap where we started out with I would say heavy lifting of rollout and basic billing related functionalities with our legacy systems, and that obviously had to be completed before we started off with the pilot rollout. And after that was completed, the next release basically was about remote reconnection disconnection. We had that in production quite early already in the rollout, proceeded through a couple of variations, and now it's in a final form and shape. And what's been occupying us very heavily during this year is start of hourly measurements. We started the rollout with monthly measurements to secure billing capability. And now we have started to transition sites to hourly meter readings and related web reporting services I just showed, and those balance settlement calculations. And also going forward in the future, we will be using the hourly measurement data as the basis data for billing. Our idea is that we will stop using register values as the basis for billing. Instead, use the hourly measurements which we need to collect anyway as the basis for billing data. And that's this work will continue till sometime in sometime till next year, till we have it in final configuration. Then is this DMS integration, low voltage network management, which is now in piloting phase, and I think will see us busy during next year still. And then comes the local connectivity. And below in red is a little bit different kind of an animal, not really part of the smart metering project, but it's our internet services platform renewal, and with internet services mean we will be offering to customers much better user experience in moving, change of supplier type of things. And this is heavily related to AMM deployment, since AMM enables much more advanced and much more smooth working web services to consumers. Our idea is to offer web services which will over time reduce the workload at our call centers. But when we look at the complete big picture, you actually see, even on this slide, you see 6 totally different kinds of IT projects. It's certainly one thing to work with the billing system and work order management, then reconnection, disconnection, that was very heavy work with the processes and some supporting tools. Hourly meter reading, you get whole new set of systems into the picture and all different, very different kind of challenges. And network operations related systems, they are traditionally a separate island on a DSO operation. So again, a new system, completely new suppliers, and then local connectivity is heavily hardware related. You need some hardware to bring to the customer, and again, the web services, that's about architectural choices and SOA integration of legacy systems. Very different kinds of IT projects, bringing up a huge project management and competence challenge for ourselves. In a way, so a lot can be done, but it takes a lot of doing and really good planning, and you need to be quite honest, so what kind of skills you need in-house, what kind of skills you have, and what kind of partners you need. We have been relying heavily on partners on IT development, and that's been, I think, good choice. So it's doable, but there's a lot of interesting projects have to be done in order to get the full benefit out of smart metering. And I think we will continue the journey in 2014 when we are done with the rollout. So the story doesn't end up here. There's more to come as time goes by. So thank you. That's my short presentation.
Thank you very much, Heikki. You're joining us also for the panel at the end at 5 o'clock. So then I think in the interest of time, we put your questions to that session at 5 o'clock. We break now for coffee, and please be back at 4 o'clock, so in 25 minutes. Thank you.